everyone. Thank you IDF for having us here. Biju and I were just having a conversation outside that we feel like imposters.
Yeah.
So thank you Shika for giving us some tips before we started. So thank you everyone again. So Biju, over to you to introduce yourself and we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much, Joanna. So two problems. One is this session is after a beautiful heavy lunch. So it's our responsibility to keep it more interesting. Second, like she mentioned, we have that issue, imposter issue. We were discussing about it. So let's see, how confident we are in conveying the message. So it's all about pay parity and age equity or whatever it is we are going to discuss today. So I just wanted to, before we get into the discussion, I just want to introduce myself. I am myself Bijuraj, heading HR Dassault System India. So we are based out of Pune and we have office in Bangalore as well. You can.
Thank you Biju. I'm Joanna. I am the head of product actually at Wisdom Circle, also a founding team member. I'll just take a second and share with you about Wisdom Circle. Some of you would have seen, a little pamphlet about embracing age diversity in your toolkit. So that's something that we've written. Essentially, we are a platform, we are a technology company, and we work with organizations to further their generational diversity, their age diversity agendas. We work in a variety of ways with you, and don't want to take too much time on this panel to discuss what Wisdom Circle does, but would love to connect with all of you and take that forward. Essentially, we work on generational diversity on the other side of the spectrum, if I can call it that. We help organizations include more retired professionals, more senior professionals, defense veterans, and the like across their workforce. So that's what we do. Let's get started, Biju.
Yeah. So we heard about a lot of diversity. Honestly speaking, when we started discussing about it, this was something new to me, age diversity. I never experienced it, but it is another elephant in the room, for sure. So just wanted to know from you, what does this age diversity means? What exactly it is?
Thank you. And I'm sure many of you would have the same question, like what exactly is age diversity? Why is it important? Why do we need to care about this? So just sharing a few statistics and, just bringing this context together. So all of us will age. As you can all imagine, all of us are going to age. World Bank statistics suggest that by 2030, 1 in 7 Indians will be above the age of 60. Many of you know of folks, could be our parents, our relatives, neighbors who are above the age of 60. And we find ourselves in a place where longevity is increasing, the quality of our life is increasing, but folks don't know what do we do with this extended life. So there's a lot of work in healthcare and medical science happening to increase our life. So we are going to live longer. We know we are going to live longer than our parents. But what do we do with living longer? Like how do we keep ourselves engaged and meaningfully engaged, as we live longer? And that is the role that organizations much like all of us in this room a pivotal role that all of us can play in this, to address the unique needs of the aging demographic. So age diversity, Biju, to me really means coming to a workplace where I or any individual is valued for the diverse skills, the knowledge that they bring, irrespective of their age.
Right.
So whether they are young, whether they are old, whatever their age is, as long as they have the skills and the talent to, bring to the table for the specific role that they have been hired for, and they are not discriminated against because of their age.
Right.
Would be an age-inclusive and age-diverse workforce, in my opinion. And I'd just like to, share with all of you, a very quick anecdote, and maybe all of you would also either relate to it or would know someone, just to bring two aspects, forward for everyone. So my father was in the Indian Army, and he joined at the age of 19, served for 30 years, and actually retired at the age of 49. At age 49, I saw him sitting in our living room, not knowing what to do next. And this is someone who had a very prolific career in the army. He was actually sent to various other countries like France and Sweden and Botswana for various trainings to represent India. He was at the PMO office, so very decorated officer, served in Kargil and all of those things, and finds himself in his drawing room not knowing what to do next. So he was on this lookout, I have skills, I have experience, I want to do something. Connected with his friends, there was no way for him to figure out what's next. He connected with friends, he reached out to all kinds of people, and mostly it was all rejections because of his age. And then, and this bit is important, right? Like then he actually joined a technology company in a very interesting role. So he joined this company and the company was pitching for defense tenders. And that is where his contribution was extremely valuable. The company was pitching for these defense tenders for years. And once he joined, these tenders moved in 6 months. He knew exactly what needs to be done, who needs to be spoken with, where are the gaps, what documents are needed. And that's actually the value that retired, experienced professionals can bring to the bottom line of the companies. So that's really the work that we believe. It's not for tokenism, it's not for for the sake of doing something that we should bring retired professionals back into the force. They actually have a whole lot of experience, a whole lot of skills that organizations can
Absolutely.
deeply benefit from.
So basically, we need to continue utilize the expertise,
Exactly.
experience, and then know how to engage them.
Yes.
So do you see the same problem with the younger age, the freshers also, that there is a problem including them in organization?
Yes, yes. So there is actually a lot of information, a lot of data that suggests getting your first job is also a very difficult task for a lot of students that graduate from colleges in India. And that is also something that on both sides of the spectrum we need to address.
Absolutely. So there is a classic saying, right? We look for experienced people, but unless otherwise we give job to them,
Exactly.
how are they going to create experience? So it is very important to have them in organization and create that avenue for them to get the right experience.
Absolutely.
So do you see what are the major concerns today different organizations are having as far as age diversity is concerned?
That's a good question, Biju, and I'm sure many of you also have this question. Concerns are essentially on two levels. One is factual. For example, is it legal to hire someone above the age of 60?
Yeah, we do have retirement age, right?
Exactly, right? Like we do have a retirement age,
Yeah.
and what does it mean to hire someone?
Absolutely.
Is it legal? The bottom line is yes, it is legal. It's completely legal as long as there is a contract between the employee and the employer. It is legal to hire anyone above the age of 60 as well. The others are more, at a subjective level. We do get a bunch of questions around would they fit with our culture, and this is true for whether someone's young, whether someone's old, whether they come from a different background. Like how would they impact culture? And the answer to that really is that we have to approach it with an inclusive mind. We have to approach it from a point of view of equity and being equitable. Like as long as they bring the skills, the knowledge that is required to do the job, then we as organizations have to create that culture where they feel included.
Yeah. Now I need to seriously think about it because till now we don't have too many people retiring.
Yes.
So, now it is important to think about colleagues who are going to retire and how to
Exactly.
take care of them as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you,
it is
Biju.
very important.
And
so
now I'd like to, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, please.
So turning the tables, Biju, to pay parity. What does pay parity mean to you, and how do you and your colleagues look at this in the organization?
So it's a very interesting question. We just completed our annual compensation cycle. For me, pay parity is pay equity,
Right.
like paying same salary, compensation to the same kind of role, same city, same kind of job, same competency, same performance. The pay should be the same, regardless of gender, sexuality, or maybe you should not differentiate when you pay any employee.
Right.
So that is what this pay parity means. And I think most of the organizations are more aware of it, more mindful about it now. But we had these issues in organizations having different pay for same kind of role, same kind of job, and then that exactly we need to address.
Right, right. Biju, from your experience at Dassault or other organizations that you know of, what are some practical ways in which organizations can address pay parity?
Yeah. So normally what I have heard about is like we need every year we need to fix the pay parity, gender pay gap, and we need to have a special budget for that, etc. For me, actually the problem starts while hiring itself, right? It is not about fixing pay during every compensation cycle, right? So what happens when you hire a person? There are a couple of things which we need to be mindful about. One, if the person is coming from, if the candidate, he or she, or for that matter, anybody coming from an organization where the pay scale is already very low, and then we give, say, 50% hike, 100% hike, but that is not up to the mark of our internal organization internal grid. That's the major problem.
Right.
The candidate may be feeling that, okay, I am getting 50% hike, but after coming to the organization, they will understand that, okay, my pay is comparatively low. So as a management, as an HR team, we should take care of that part first. Okay?
Right.
We should have an internal grid and ensure that anybody coming onto that role, regardless of anything, if that person is competent, you should pay as per the grid.
Right.
So the pay parity starts from there. Fixing, once you take anybody inside organization with a pay difference, fixing that over the period of time is going to be difficult. Okay, so every organization, my request is, we should take care of while hiring itself. That is the first measure we are taking today. If at all there are some, due to whatever reason it is, there are some part where we need to fix the pay parity, yes, every year we need to take care of that as well. So I have observed one thing, that normally women employees or candidates are little bit, they are not good at negotiating salary. Okay. So one thing what I have included is having the right panel in the interview session. We need to ensure that diversity in interview panel itself. Okay. So that they are comfortable discussing about the need, what they want, etc. So that the right negotiation is a wrong word, maybe the right discussion will happen, and then we can position them in the right sense. Okay, whether it is men or women, this has to be taken care of. That is what one of the thing. Second thing, normally any women, when they go for maternity leave, there's a 6 months of gap, and once they are back, there is a tendency to reduce the salary, or maybe the hike is compromised. Of course, there will be a gap of knowledge, maybe they are not aware of what is happening at this moment in the organization, so could be compromise on the competency. We need to take care of that also. So just to tell you, we have an initiative called as Connect to Reconnect, which is actually going really well. So what we do is, when they are on maternity leave, with their permission, after their delivery, we actually connect with them. We introduce the newborn to the team members over a Zoom call, and we include the candidate or the employee in the discussion, regular discussion. So that candidate is up to date. Okay. So after maternity leave, once that person is back, there is no gap in competency. Okay. This also helps that person to continue in the same level of positioning or whatever technology, whatever you want to say. So this kind of small thing, if you take care of, I believe we can take care of gender parity as well.
Right. Thank you, Biju. Anything else you'd like to share?
Couple of more things, like I'm just comparing with age diversity and pay parity. See, it's all about how we are having the right role defined for every age or level of people, diverse people, and what they can do. Okay, if you ask elephant to climb a tree, it is not possible. So it is our responsibility to find out what is their competency, what is their level of expertise, and then decide together what kind of role we can give, whether it is age parity or pay parity. This is what we need to do as management. This is what I would like to.
No, thank you, Biju, and I definitely second that even in the work that we do with organizations, it's one of the first things we share, that you cannot ask an elephant to climb up a tree, or
Absolutely.
it doesn't make sense to just be age agnostic, that is definitely the first step. So a lot of times we hear that, I'm totally okay with anyone from any age to apply for this role. So, of course I am, of course I have, the right policies and the right practices in place. Anyone from any age can apply to a role. But then we do encourage organizations to think a little bit more deeply than that. Being age agnostic doesn't make you age inclusive, by definition. Just like being gender agnostic doesn't make you gender inclusive. The same way being age agnostic doesn't make you age inclusive by definition. So we have to think about roles that make sense for senior professionals, that they would fit well with,
Absolutely.
that leverage their skills, their experience. So just to share a few real world examples, right, with all of you, we have found that organizations deeply benefit from retired professionals coming in as mentors. And some of the panelists over here also mentioned, these programs that they have been doing in their organizations, and we would love to see these in even more number of organizations, especially as young talent come into the workforce. They're all looking for a mentor, someone to look up to, and typically these mentors are, what we see now is, they are sometimes the manager, sometimes someone in the organization, and there is a strange power dynamic that, exists if your mentor is also somebody who is, got some kind of a, managing kind of relationship with you. And there it's a time to be creative, like having a retired professional from the same organization, as a mentor for young, high potential employees. That's a great win-win for both the retired professional who actually wants, this person, this young professional to do well, to contribute to the organization that they have actually retired from. And we've been able to facilitate those type of programs. So an employee, a young employee mentorship program is a great way to engage retired professionals from your organization or even other organizations. Often, younger startups don't have any retirees. So in those cases, there are other organizations from which they can, bring from the same sector, similar background that they can bring in. Another space that retired professionals do really add value is in interim roles. So you mentioned the point around maternity leave. So we've seen that even in those cases, to have an interim person be part of the team while the female employee has gone for her maternity leave works really well, because retired professionals are also looking for shorter term, very clear project-based roles. They're not looking for like long-term commitment and like, long-term careers per se. For them, a 6-month project is a great is a great option, and they're very happy to take on like short stints, contribute to organizations, and this is work that they have done and they've done for many years. So they're also able to hit the ground running and start contributing from the very first day. So interim roles are another space that retired professionals actually fit really well. And just coming back to what you were sharing, we have to be age inclusive. Think of roles that make sense for folks of different ages.